We got people suggesting Orlando Brown in free
Hmm.
agency. Somebody threw out Taylor Lewan
Woof.
earlier with the Titans.
Yeah.
Um, that kind of points the finger at Mike McGlinchey.
Hmm.
In your mind, what do you think? Raj, is Mike McGlinchey? If you made me predict, I think Mike McGlinchey signs with the Bears. They got $100 million in
Ooh.
cap room. He went to Notre
Oh.
Dame. It would be an enormously popular pick there. I think he's going to price him. Niner fans always see the negatives of McGlinchey. The reality is McGlinchey's one of the 3 or 4 best offensive linemen available in free agency, and he's going to get paid a boatload. And I don't think the Niners are going to match.
Yeah.
So even though I know John Lynch loves him, and I know he's a locker room fixture,
Hmm.
and I think he's a much better player than the Niner Twitter or whatever would have you believe, but I think McGlinchey prices himself out and they go in a different direction.
No,
What do
hundred
you think they
percent agree.
re-sign him? What's your thought?
I pretty much feel the same way as you. I think honestly, I know Niner fans laugh at him. He's a laughing stock. He's a Twitter like beating drum out there, but he's not horrible. If you look at the market, you got Orlando Brown, the guy we just mentioned, Mike McGlinchey, and the other guy we mentioned was it Taylor Lewin. Those are your top tackles on the market, and I don't think the 49ers are going to be able to afford any of those guys. Forget about Orlando Brown, especially after last night's performance in the Super Bowl. That man's going to get himself way out of our budget. I don't think we can bring out back McGlinchey. I think it would be helpful if we could. Because again, I know Niner fans, oh, he's terrible. He improved with his pass blocking. He's been inconsistent, but his run blocking is great, and that's what the 49ers need. So I think they will move on from him, and I think he'll go get a nice contract somewhere because he is one of the top tackles in the market. Right tackle, there's not like a whole quality. It's not like a bevy of like crazy good right tackles. So he will get paid. I don't think the Niners are going to be able to bring him back. I think they want to. I think they genuinely want to because he is a like a CEO of the locker room. I was talking to Cam Inman a couple weeks ago. He says they love him. He like commands that locker room. People look up to him. Spencer Burford, I think on his goodbye message, when he was talking to the media a couple weeks ago, he goes, "I really looked to Mike McGlinchey. He was like a guy that really helped me this season. He was a big mentor, and I looked up to the guy. So these guys respect him. I think Spencer Burford, that's the guy. I think you move him outside to right tackle. He can. He's still
That's
young enough.
interesting.
He's still young enough. He played tackle in college. I think he's moldable still. He had a really good, solid rookie season. I think that's the guy. You slide him to the right. Guard, I feel, is a lot easier to replace. You can get Brunskill back maybe, or you can
Nick
draft a guy.
Sakel.
Yeah, exactly. Nick Zakel. You can Jason Poe maybe. You have some guys that may be able to play guard, but tackle is a premium, and that's a tough spot. I think Burford has that dog in him enough to excel on that right tackle spot. So that to me is the cheap fix because he's on a rookie tackle contract. It's easy money. You don't have to pay anybody. You don't have to sign anybody. Slide him. Make sure he gets that position down. He knows it because he played it in college. And then you fix that right guard spot. And then maybe you bring back Brendel or you go sign someone.
Yeah. Um, I love the idea. I would let McGlinchey go too. I mean, I not that I don't like McGlinchey. I love McGlinchey. I think McGlinchey is a guy, Raj, that people criticize because he's had some really bad plays on film, and then they
Yeah.
see him horizontal to the ground and Micah Parsons, and it's like all of a sudden you see it, you get the images and you put them out there for people, and so you're seeing he's got some like low lights that people
Mm-hmm.
cling to and go, look at this, he can't play. In reality, he's a far better player than people think. But I would let him go. I would, because I think he'll get paid. The two
Mm-hmm.
guys that I really like, I like Caleb McGarry from the University of Washington, who played for Atlanta this year, as maybe a right tackle. I also like your idea of sliding Spencer Burford from right guard to right tackle. He played right tackle at UTSA. It's going to take some quickness. He's gonna have to get quicker feet and that kind of thing. But I'd take a chance. I also really like Nick Allegretti from the Chiefs as
Mm-hmm.
a backup offensive lineman who's 26. He's an academic All-American. He was at a 46 Wonderlic. The one thing about the trait that the Niner offensive line need more than most is intellect, because there's so many formations. There's so
Yeah.
much, Shanahan's playbook's vast. And if you're a backup offensive lineman like an Allegretti, you need to learn left guard, right tackle, center. I mean, you need to basically learn every spot that's not Trent Williams. And I just think between, a guy like Allegretti, you could plug him in at right guard. You could re-sign Brunskill. You could plug in Nick Zakelj. There's Jalen Moore. They've got some different options on their offensive line. Colton McKivitz, I think, is a lot of people think could slide in and be a starter. So that's the direction I would go. I would say